What's happening? It's so cold. That's the on-air signs on the table thing, because it keeps falling off the wall. So it's just, look, it's where it is. It is freezing in Northern Ireland today. I think it's colder in my studio than it is outside. And it's been really weird this year because we've gone through like September and October have been weirdly and uncomfortably warm. November has been warm for the first 2 weeks. Like, I was in the sea a few weeks ago surfing, and I was like, no boots, no gloves, and it was totally fine. Like, and then just out of nowhere, it went from like 15 degrees to like 2 degrees. And then the mountains were full of snow. People were fucking driving around like it was Iceland. It was fucking insane. Absolutely insane. Well, not insane. You know what I mean? Kind of crazy. Anyway, welcome back.
Yeah, you better.
The thing that I've noticed has been harder to do is like more of my own stuff. And it just got me thinking last night. What's going on? No, not now. Not now, buddy. I'm just recording a podcast here, buddy. Say hello.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not.
Me, I am, not you, you dick. Me, I'm recording a podcast. I'm recording a podcast.
Oh, really, are you?
Yeah, I'll ring you back here when I'm finished.
Get on with it.
Yeah, I'll ring you back when I'm finished.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Ryan say. Used to be my partner in crime with podcast, but, you know, want to look for a bit of lack of enthusiasm. Ryan say. There's your man. Oh, yeah, so I was at this shoot yesterday, and it was a food shoot. Finished it, and I'd eaten a load of food afterwards. I was fucking full, and I thought, I need to walk this off. And I was like, I really want to make a video. I was just like, I get this little urge, like I want to go make something. So I decided to go out and shoot this video. And the problem was I went down the vlog route because a vlog is easy for me. Like, I find it quite easy to shoot and edit a vlog. And I think there was an element of like get something done, but I think that get something done was for the wrong reason. I don't think it was in the mindset of get this done and get the next thing done. It was more like low hanging fruit. Like, I knew that was an easily achievable thing. So I sort of just wandered off to shoot this vlog, which is fine. Sometimes vlogs for me come together super quickly. Like, sometimes it all falls into place and I love shooting them. But there's other times where I force a vlog out and I fucking hate them. And last night was one of those. And what I did was I wanted to tell the story about my lens. And I'll tell you what happened with the lens. I have a Sony G Master 24-70 lens. I've had it for quite a few years now. It is a workhorse. It's such a good lens. It's fast. It's sharp. It's well built. It's super durable. It's weather sealed. I mean, I use it for everything, and I have fucking put it through its paces. Anyway, the aperture ring stopped working, and I don't know. I'm saying aperture ring. No actual aperture ring. The aperture leaf gate thing. It stopped registering. So when I would put it on the camera, it would just be like 2 lines where the stop mark normally is. And, you know, I had a screwdriver, so I took it apart to see if I could fix it. Turns out, after I got a little bit into it, I don't know what I'm doing. So I was like, let's just take it to someone who knows. So I took it down to Wex in Belfast, and I was like, guys, can I give you this lens to fix? And they were like, yeah, no worries. And then I was like, what are we looking for time-wise? They're like, oh, we'll hear back in a couple of weeks. And I was like, all right, no worries. The guy was like, it's only 2 to 4 weeks to complete. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Something along the lines of that. I don't know if I wasn't listening or if he just didn't explain it right. But anyway, sent it. 2 weeks later, I ring them up. I'm like, any chance you guys could tell me what's going on with this lens? And they were like, oh, yeah. They were like, yeah, we've sent it away to a place called Fixation, which is over in England. And it's part of the Wex repair thing, something like that. Anyway, they had the lens. And he was like, oh, we'll check up and see. So then they ring me back a day or two later. It's been like 2 weeks at this point. And they're like, yeah, we've got the lens. It's going to be 440 quid or something to fix it. I was like, fuck my life. Like, it's a £2,000 lens. And I had put a mark down. I was like, if it's over 500 quid, I'm just going to sell it as broken and buy something new. But if it's under 500, I'll repair it. It was 440. Oh, and I was just like, it's so disheartening because I've already paid £2,000 for this lens and I have to pay another £400 to fix the thing that I've already. But at the same time, that lens has paid for itself over and over again, and 400 quid to get that fixed. It is a absolute workhorse. So that was 2 weeks Yeah, until that happened. And then it has been another 2 weeks since I okayed the estimate and went, get it fixed, fellas. So I rang the dudes up yesterday and I was like, here, any chance you give me an update in this lens? And they were real nice about it, but they were just like, there's no news. And I was like, could you tell me like what I'm expecting here? And he's like, oh yeah, it's normally like around the 4 weeks. It could be more, could be up to 6 weeks sometimes, but normally around the 4 week mark. And I was like, yeah, but it's been 4 weeks. And he's like, no, 4 weeks from the estimate. Oh my God, I was like, fuck's sake. So 6 weeks. He's like, all right, yeah. And I was like, look, I know I'm stressing you out here, phoning you, but anyway, I've been working in the studio today, been editing, catching up on a lot of backlog of video edits that just, see, as a freelance solo creator, there's this weird balance that you have to try to get the whole time, and it's between overcommitting and then not having enough money to eat. Now, I'm not in the not having enough money to eat spectrum, but I don't think that changes. I don't think that mindset changes. Like, I don't think, what am I trying to say? I don't think the worry for money disappears as you make different brackets of money. You just continue to worry. Wife was talking to me about this recently, and she was like asking about what are one of my biggest worries, and I'm like, money. I was chatting to my dad about it in the bar actually the other day. Money. It's just I hate it. It constantly niggles at me. It's just there in the back of my brain, because I'm not only making stuff and creating things for a living, but I'm also running my own business. And the other side of that, the business side of that, which is the part that I know I need to do, but it's not really the bit that fuels my fire. That bit has to be done. And worrying about money is one of those things. It's fucking super stressful. I'm drinking a cup of tea, by the way. If you're listening to this and you just hear this little every few minutes, because I'm drinking a cup of tea because my balls are freezing in this bloody studio. My hands are numb. I've got the heaters on in the actual office bit with the computer and gear, but the main studio bit where I record this podcast, it's like an igloo. Is an igloo warm? It's fucking cold is what I'm getting at. Anyway, but yeah, the struggle for money never fucking goes away. So you end up in this weird scenario where like you can overcommit to work very quickly. And someone said to me one day, you gotta just balance, you gotta know when to say no. And I do say no to a lot of work, like a lot of stuff. But at the same time, there's these little like ebbs and flows. These are peaks and troughs of the old freelance world, where you could be slammed for a few months and then you could go through a quiet spell. And I mean, like, it doesn't take much of a quiet spell to get you panicking. Like, you only need to have a week. Like, for me, it's like a week of no shoots. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing enough work. I need to be, but it's never the case. Like, I have a backlog of edits I'm working through. I have bookings through to March, April next year, which is great. And it's taken a while to get to this point. And I find sometimes is like trying to manage that process of helping people, helping clients, and saying, yeah, I can pull you out of this hole, or help you with that project, and ensuring that there's enough work down the pipeline, and also not overcommitting to stuff. And I think with my communication, that's one of the things I've learned a lot over the years, is how key that is, and how often I forget to say to people, oh yes, I can do the shoot, but just remember that the edit's going to be delayed, because that is a key piece of information that you should be telling people if you're working in this industry. Yes, I can make the shoot happen, but the edit will be delayed. And if you would like to fast track that above all of my other work, there's going to be an extra fee on top of that. Because I do the shoot and then they're like, when can we get that? And I'm like, oh, like 4 weeks? And they're like, oh, I needed that like tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, well, my bad. So then I end up screwing myself over and having to work stupid hours at night. Anyway, that's where we've got to. So it's that constant battle of money, fucking money. But what I wanted to talk about today was not money, because I'm not a financial expert. I just make it up as I go along, and it seems to work. I want to sort of talk a little bit about passion for creation. Last week, we talked about making time for yourself. And I think something that I feel like I missed in that, but then when I reviewed it back, I was like, oh, I sort of covered it a little bit, was the importance of making your own stuff, your own art, so to speak. And it doesn't really matter, if you come from a painting background or a filmmaking background or whatever that is, that idea of practice, that idea of making your own stuff. So I think like when I got into this, what got me into doing what I do? That's a big question. I kind of didn't really think there was another. I didn't even think about it. It's been so intertwined in my life. Creativity, the creative services, they've just been part and parcel with what I do. I think I was brought up in a family that pushed creativity. My dad was a graphic designer, and I had a insane conversation with him last week, which I'm still digesting, and I would like to sort of bring it to life in some other way, his story of what he did, but sort of pushed me a lot as a kid. I grew up with my dad having a design studio and me being in and out of it, and early Photoshop, what was I, Photoshop 5 maybe? And I'm not talking CS 5. I'm talking like Photoshop 5, Photoshop 7, that sort of era, before it got into the Creative Suite, before the Creative Suite existed, before the Creative Cloud existed. Fucking hell. Back in the days of black and white TV. It feels like that sometimes. And he used to just show me how to do stuff, and I would design little books. And at the time, they were great. When I look back now, I'm like, goodness me, there was a lot of learning to happen. But I used to design these magazines and little zine book things and stuff like that, posters. And then all through my adolescence, my teenage years, early 20s, I was always just sort of designing things to do with BMX riding. In fact, I had this thing called Unofficial, which was because we were an unofficial BMX squad. And I used to design fake stickers and things and t-shirts and stuff like that, but never materialized any of them, but photos and videos I made all the time. And I loved doing it. I was a pretty average bike rider, but what I brought to the table was documenting everything. So I loved shooting the videos, but I would design up VHS covers and build them all up, and then I would distribute the tapes out to people. And I just loved that side of making things. And that is sort of where Shoveit was from, which I think I've explained in previous videos before. And it's always been that side project, that driver, that pipe dream, that thing in the end, the bit that I sort of lost contact with, which is why I wanted to reignite this whole Shoveit thing. The podcast thing has taken over. It's become the one thing I'm doing more than, and it was the one thing I wasn't supposed to be doing at the start. There was other projects I wanted to work on with this, but we'll get there. We're getting there. Consistency is what we're working on first. But always just had a passion for it. And I know that word sounds so wanky, doesn't it? Oh, I've got a passion for creativity. But I also think there's an element of I didn't really think of anything else. I don't know if that's laziness or if it was just, I think confidence. I always kind of knew that's what I wanted to do. I never really thought any other avenue of doing anything. I was just I'll do something down there. And I kind of just went with what I was good at. I just went with the flow, followed the grain, just was this is what I'm good at. I'm going to go down here. And I'm trying to be a little bit like that with my kids as a father. I'm trying to be let's work on what you're good at, which is weird because the schooling system, it loves to push the opposite. It's you go in for a parent teacher with your kids and they're here's the things they're not good at. And I'm yeah, cool. Can we talk about what they are good at? And then they're look at their notes. I didn't actually have that down. I don't know what they're good at. I don't really have that to talk about. They might be well done in math or whatever that was, but they just want to discuss all the things you're not good at, because a lot of the schooling system is trying to build up all of your skills in everything to a pretty not mediocre, to an average. They want everybody to be relatively okay at everything, which I kind of understand. But it's for me, I'm trying to hone in on what my kids love and what they're naturally good at, and just be go with that. Because for me, it's been great. My entire life has been focused heavily around creativity, and in a whole bunch of different ways, from graphic design on web and print to copywriting to fucking writing scripts for stuff to writing blogs to making videos to storyboarding to recording podcasts and all the shit that comes around with it, like, and all the tech and all the gears and all the things you learn and the people you meet and all of that sort of stuff. And I've loved it. And while I don't believe in that, if you do what you love, you won't work a single day in your life, I actually think sometimes it's the opposite. Like, I work a fuck ton more than I think I ever would if I just did a regular 9 to 5. But I say, what does that even mean? What's a regular 9 to 5? Who knows? But I think that, you end up working so much because you're doing what you love. So that I don't really think that saying is true, but I also wouldn't have it any other way because I love what I do. And there are some days where I can't be bothered, or I'm just not in the mood at that exact time to do stuff, or sometimes you deal with difficult people. But for the most part, I really love the sort of work and stuff that I do and the opportunities that I get. But what I've noticed in the last couple of years is I've got so much busier, and I'm working on bigger projects, and I have quite a few regular clients, like retainer clients and people I work with on a reoccurring basis, which makes life very easy because I get to invest in them and they get to invest in me. So we're both sort of thinking about each other. It means if I have an idea, I can jot things down and come to them and be like, hey, I was thinking about this thing we were doing. This is what I reckon we could fix or push or change, or this is a cool idea. And they're sort of thinking the same with me. So I do like working like that. But what I've noticed is I've got so busy recently. Like, this year has been, I feel like I've been saying to people all the time, oh my God, I've been slammed the last few weeks. And it's just been like, it's been constant for the last few months. And that's great. I'm not complaining about that. It also comes with a lot of hard work. Like, that doesn't just happen. There's a lot of work I do behind the scenes to ensure that I am kept busy like that. I really need that lens back, which, to be honest with you, that amount of time is fucking insanity for that sort of thing. Because maybe I should have come in with a professional sticker on my head and gone, hi, I'm a professional photographer and videographer. I'm not just swanning around like a hobbyist. Any chance we can get this fixed ASAP? What's the fucking express payment to get that done? Let's get it done now. I just thought 4 weeks is a bit mad. It's 6 weeks in total. So if you're going to get something fixed and you're in Northern Ireland, be prepared to wait 6 weeks from when you hand the thing in to when you get the lens back. I mean, I haven't even got it back yet. I have to wait another 2 fucking weeks. So I've been making this sort of situation work by trying a whole bunch of fucking different things and using different lenses. And I've got the lenses there. Like, I've got primes to work with. And for some outdoor stuff, I've been using the Sony kit lens that I was going to just throw into the sea. And years ago, not really throw into the sea, it was just a metaphor for get rid of it, just in case you're like, oh, don't throw things into the sea. So I have been using that for some of the outdoor stuff, and it's been all right. It's not as nice but it's been fine. But I've been using prime lenses, which has just been a lot of lens on, lens off, fucking switching between cameras and shit. And it's reminded me how much I love the 24-70. It just works so well for the kind of stuff that I shoot. Last time when I was driving back, I was like, oh, do you know what I'll do? I'll go down into the town where I live, and I'll go and shoot some photos on like a fixed focal lens. I've been wanting to do videos around exploring with one focal range, and loads of people do this. I just like doing it because what really got me into taking my photography outside of bikes. So I photographed cycling and bikes for fucking years, man, since I was like 16. Was what all my photography started with, like people riding BMX, then downhill mountain biking. Then I worked in a cycle trade. I started doing triathlon and road cycling, cross country, stuff like that. But what really got my photography outside of that was street photography with a 50mm lens. I always loved 50mm lenses because they're awkwardly tight and not tight enough, so they really make you work. They're like I quite like 35mm as well because it's quite nice for street photography. But for the 35mm, I feel I can get away with just like some nice wide shots. But on the 50, it's like I have to walk back, I have to walk up. It really makes you get your step count in, but it really makes you work hard for photos. So I was like, I've always loved that, and I thought it'd be cool to go do some stuff with some of the other ones. But because I got the 24-70, I get lazy and I just fire that on, and it does the job for everything. So I was like, right, I want to go shoot a video. Let's go shoot a video talking about like doing this. But then I got stuck immediately in the world of gear anxiety, where I was like, do I shoot it on the 50 mil? And by the way, my 50 mil lens is one of the Sony 50 mil 1.8 for the APS-C. I don't really use it on my full frame stuff. I use it on my APS-C setup, and I've got an old Sony A6300, and I use it on that. The whole system is like when I first moved from Canon to Sony, this is quite a while ago, and I only had the budget to move into like a smaller system so I could get a range of different stuff. So I still have that system, and it's battered, but I use it for like street photos and dicking around and stuff like that, and some vlog things. So I can use it on my A7 III photo camera. I say photo camera, it shoots video as well. Don't know why I'm calling it photo camera, but I can use it on that, and it auto crops to an APS-C sensor effectively. It doesn't really work as well on the A7 S3 because you get this weird like fucking, vignette around it, which you just have to punch in post, but I can't be asked. So anyway, now we're just talking about gear. Fuck's sake, this is not about gear, but we're talking about, here we are talking about gear. Jesus. So I thought I'd do that. I was like, I'll do 50 mil, and then I was like, no, I could take the 20 mil out. Look at a real nice Sony G20 mil, and it's a really nice lens. It's what you're watching this podcast through now, if you're watching it on the YouTubes. And I was like, what I could do that, which I would still like to do, is take photos, wide landscape shots of like the shop fronts that are all lit up in Bangor at night, like the takeaways and the cafes and the restaurants, but the ones that, because they all got weird fucking signs, and where I live is like they're always changing, and there's talk about a whole bunch of new work happening at some point in the future down the seafront. I thought it'd be kind of cool to capture that. So this could be kind of cool to go do that. So I got stuck in this gear anxiety of which lens, what should I do? So I put everything in my bag like a dick. Again, I walked off out into the darkness, and it was fucking cold. And I walked off and I had a loose idea of what I thought I was going to do, but I didn't go down that route at all. I went into this like lazy vlog approach because I hadn't really given the idea enough thought about the lenses. I've given the idea of the lenses more thought talking about them now in this podcast than I had last night when I wanted to go and shoot the video about them. So I was like not in the right frame of mind. I walked out there looking for like an easy win. I just want to shoot a vlog, take a box, upload it, get it out of my way. And I think that's because if I do that, I feel like I've achieved something, which is not the way I like doing stuff. So anyway, I went out, walking off doing this vlog thing, and filmed a few shots, and didn't really bring the gear that I thought I needed. I didn't have a gorilla pod. I didn't have a tripod. There was no real way to mount stuff. So I was leaning the camera on rocks and things, which is kind of the way I shoot stuff anyway. But it was slack and it was lazy. And I was doing this vlog walking through the park, and it was like super dark and super bright, and the exposure was going over the show. Anyway, long story short is I got in. This is a long story long. I ended up just getting fucked off with it all. I filmed quite a fair bit, but I never got to the point talking about my lens and why I was now using this and why I'd come out, because I spent the whole fucking 45-minute walk down to where I was going just complaining about the brightness of the lights in the street, and then how loud the traffic was at 10 o'clock at night in the town, and then some dude across the street shouting at me, and then sketchy people walking about, and then fucking I didn't have my tripod, and then a brick that I was bouncing my camera on kept wobbling. It just turned into me just getting annoyed. And I was like, I sat down, and then I was like, do you want to go do? I'm going to reset, positive mental attitude, a nice wide shot of this bench. I'll just reset, stick the DJI mics on. I'll just sit down. I'll do the intro here, and we'll just take it from here. We'll scrap everything. So I tried, and I recorded this monologue bit talking to camera. It was only a couple of minutes. And I walked over to the camera, and the fucking battery had gone flat on the camera. My fault. I hadn't looked. I was like, motherfucker. So I looked at the switch batteries and checked the card, and it was like, it had recorded like 45 seconds. It had gone from like, I did look at it. It was like 14%. I thought that'll be fine for a couple of minutes. And it just depleted itself. Must have been the cold. Just depleted to zero. And I didn't get the whole thing. And then I was like, I was furious. And then I was like, so annoyed. And then I felt like I was like forcing this. And I sat there for a bit and thought about it. And I was like, what's the problem? What is the problem here? And then I was like, I don't like vlogs. I don't like making vlogs for the sake of making vlogs. And it started getting me to think about my passion for creating and making things. And I got to this point where I was like, I don't mind a vlog if it's the purpose of a journey or a story, or if it's telling you something. Because the reason I do like vlogging is it's quick and I can get a message across really fast. I like self-filming. I like producing stuff solo myself because I can get my ideas across without too many gatekeepers, without too many opinions, and I can do it the way I want to do it. And I like talking on camera. As someone who does this day in and day out with other people and filming other people and trying to get other people to talk on camera, it's so refreshing just being able to do it myself, because I'm filming them going, this is so simple. All you need to do is listen to what I'm telling you to do here and just do it. And people go, yeah. And then they're just off on a tangent, changing words, trying to say shit. And then before you know it, a video, that is a finished video of 30 seconds, is taken like 20 minutes to film. And there's no cuts or second cameras. It's one camera angle, somebody just talking to camera. And all I'm going to do is overlay with B-roll. It's taking a fucking 20 minutes to say it. Hey, my name's Steven. Let me tell you about this thing that I do every single day for my job. Here's 5 things about it. Thing 1, and they just talk through it. And fucking, can they stick to script? Can they? And I'm like, look, you're overthinking it. So if you just do what I'm telling you, this will be super simple. And then I've got techniques for how I sort of relay dialogue to them, and almost just read them the script out, and then just repeat it exactly how I'm saying it. So I shoot things by myself because I find that so quick and easy. But I like that when the vlog is not the focus. So like buddy Dan and I went out, one of my last videos on my own channel was Dan and I went to photograph the aurora. And I'd never photographed the aurora before, so I shot a vlog about that. But the vlog wasn't the focus, it was the aurora. I was just vlogging it because that was the easiest way to get it done at the point in time. So I think last night, I didn't actually have a story. I was forcing something in to make a vlog, and I don't like that, because then the vlog takes too much control. It becomes fucking pointless, and I'm making a video for the wrong reasons. And then I started thinking about, like, what are some of my favorite videos that I've made? Some of them are vlogs, but a lot of them were during lockdown, the pandemic. They're normally ideas, and I'm thinking, like, what is it I like doing? And it's like, I like making things. I love talking on camera, and I think the idea is, because I like talking and I like making, vlogs seem like such an easy thing to do, but it's not necessarily the thing that I want to do. And I built this unit out of shot here for, like, we'll call it a set. I think in my Instagram stories I was like, it's a set for stuff, and someone's like, what are you going to film there? And I was like, I don't fucking know. And immediately I just filmed a little video of me opening a beer. Of course it's edited, it hasn't been uploaded, but I just used that little scene that I created to shoot this beer thing. And I was like, I love making little things like that. I love having my creative ideas and trying to bring them to life through a medium of design or photo or video or audio or written. And what ends up happening is, because they need just a little bit more work, I push them aside and I go for, like, the easy win. They're like, oh, just do this. I know I should be doing that. You know, I could just spend the time on that project, but I'll do this. Like, I've got an idea written down there about Inception in, like content that I see, there's this very simple idea, and it's, like, executed in, like, 8 shots. But those 8 shots need to be worked out because it's Inception. They're all within each other. So I have to work that out. And I'm like, oh, I haven't got the capacity to do that now. So I'll just push that aside, and I'll just film a meaningless vlog of me walking through the fucking darkness, complaining about not having a lens. So it really got me thinking last night, because I've always been a big defender in vlogging, and I see a lot of people approaching vlogging. And I get people messaging me quite often going, I don't understand how you just go out and vlog. I don't understand how you talk in public. Where do you get your vlog ideas from? And I'm like, stop thinking about the vlog. Like, and then for me, it's like, Dill, stop thinking about the vlog. Stop saying the word, because it shouldn't be, unless you are doing a daily vlog where you are just documenting your life. That is one thing. But for the things that I like making, the things that give me a kick, they're not vlogs. Sometimes the vlog is the way I have executed the idea, because it was the easiest way for me to execute my idea. Easiest? Does that make sense? I feel like when I say easiest there, it sounds like it's the fucking laziest. It's not the laziest way. So I think it's that phrase vlog. It's when you go out with the concept of, I'm going to shoot a vlog. Then you're thinking of it, the vlog, but you should be thinking of the story you're trying to tell. Don't worry about the vlog. If you make a vlog, cool. But think about the story. This is me talking to myself, by the way. You might be sitting thinking this is exactly what I needed to hear. You also might be thinking you've just walked into Dylan's own therapy session, which it kind of is. The things I love doing, there was a video I made years ago, with my buddy Dan and my buddy Tim. And the three of us went up to Tor's Head in Northern Ireland, this weird little fucking bit on the north coast. And we shot a video there. I say I shot a video there. Just the three of us dicking around. We were up sort of on the cliff edges and stuff and all these things. And it was a silly vlog of the three of us messing about. It didn't get any views because they never do. But I loved that video not because it was a vlog, but because of the memories that happened in that. And all I did that day was just follow the story. And I think that is where a vlog for somebody like me is really nice. When you have an idea or an area you want to explore, or a thing you want to do, and you film behind the scenes, you document the story in the style of a vlog. And therefore the focus is around what you're doing and the people you're with and the story you're telling, rather than the focus on trying to film a vlog. I'm going to go out to film a vlog. It's that sentence. If you know me and I said to you, I'm going to go out and film a vlog today, just go, Dylan, fuck up, right? You're not going to do it. It's pointless. Don't go and film a vlog. Go and tell a story. What's the story? And if I don't have a story, just take my camera off me and just put it down and go do something else. It got me thinking last night, but it was in a good way. It got me really thinking about the passion side and stuff I like making, which makes it a little bit difficult when I start to think about things like niches or themes for a channel, because I don't have any of that. Because on one hand, I want to make a video out of my mates shooting photographs. The next hand, the next hand stage thing. The next thing is I want to make an animation about something random. And then I want to, like, one of my projects here is I've got a surfboard and a whole load of Posca pens. I'm going to color the surfboard in. Because I want to color in my surfboard with Posca pens for the crack, just for the crack, because I quite like it. I want to make a video about that and explain that story. I'm not going to make a vlog. I'm going to make a video about that and explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So yeah, maybe you're sitting there like me, sitting questioning, what the fuck's the point? What am I doing? And I think when you get into that sort of frame of mind, you just got to stop, take a step back, look at what you're doing, and ask yourself the question, what do I not like that's happening right now? This is what I did last night. I sat down on this bench and I was like, right, what do I not like that's happening here? And then I wrote it. I just said it all. Well, these little aspects of what's happened have really irritated me and they've got in my way. And okay, now what's stopping you from doing these things? Okay, so if all those things weren't there, what would we be doing? And then I end up being like, well, fuck all, because I've come out without a plan and I've come out focusing on the vlog and not the idea, not the story. So if you're taking anything away from today, just take this away. It's fucking cold. My hands are numb. Think about the story. Think about the journey, and think about what you're trying to tell people in whatever creative stuff you're making. And don't think too much about the medium. The medium and the execution is just a process in how you communicate your story with your audience. We shouldn't be focusing on the medium. You know? We don't write a book for the sake of writing a book. You write a book because you've got something you want to tell someone. Therefore, it's a book. If you just sat down and went, I'm going to write a book today. About what? You'd have 250 blank pages. And then just a publisher's details at the back. And you'd be out of pocket. So there you go. Just a thought for you. Maybe you resonate, maybe you don't. I am going to end this here before I die of hypothermia. All right? Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
My God, that's cold. That's almost, man, that is fucking, it is cold in here today. I don't understand how it's got so cold. Let's go.